crying elephant desperately begged man for help. Then something heartbreaking happens. 4 men were gathered in a ranger's office on the outskirts of the Bandor Tiger Reserve in India. The topic of today's conversation was the execution of an elephant. The men were waiting for 2 colleagues, Barker and Zahir. The director of the reserve, Mr. Sukar, took the floor. "This bull has been causing havoc," he said. "We now have complaints from 5 of the 7 village settlements in the area. It's only a matter of time before someone gets seriously hurt. We have no choice but to assassinate him." There was an issue with an elephant named Mowgli about a month ago. The villagers knew and liked him, and he never created any difficulty. But when he got closer to where people lived, he began to act strangely, knocking things over. He hadn't hurt anyone yet, but something horrible seemed to be on the way. Fortunately, Mowgli had 2 highly qualified experts on his side. Zahir was a wildlife vet who understood the feelings of large animals. Barker had spent a long time working with elephants and knew a lot about them. They noticed something important. Mowgli had tried to hide from the villagers who were chasing him the night before. But he ran into 2 males who stood out. They didn't want to hurt him and instead appeared concerned. Mowgli, feeling desperate, allowed them to come close, hoping they would understand he wasn't causing trouble on purpose. The older man had been the first to speak. "This elephant is begging for our help," he said, still not daring to move closer. So, the next morning, Barker and Zahir walked right into the meeting room without knocking. "We don't need to put down Mowgli," Barker stated emphatically. "He's acting out because he needs our help. He has been hurt." All eyes shifted to the vet, and Zahir understood he had taken over the floor. Mowgli's life depended on his ability to convince the 4 managers that the plan was viable. Out in the jungle, Mowgli smelled people nearby. He knew there might be fresh food in the settlement. Because of the pain in his leg, he couldn't wander far to find the food he needed to stay alive. The humans and their villages were his only source of survival. Mowgli hid among the plants on the jungle's edge, looking at the village around 600 yards away. Despite the pain in his hindquarters, he prepared himself and started moving quickly toward the village. The massive elephant roared across the bush, flapping his gigantic ears and making loud trumpet sounds. People in the plantain area saw him and fled in fear. Mowgli rushed into the patch, knocking down trees and stamping on little plants, causing destruction. Then he began eating the plantains, which had the nutrients he desperately needed. He was aware that time was running out. The villagers would be there in minutes with their thundersticks. Mr. Sukumar couldn't believe what Zahir said in the ranger's office. Instead of executing the elephant, Zahir suggested tranquilizing him, treating the wound, and helping him in healing. Zahir explained there was a big sore on Mowgli's hind leg, oozing and filled with maggots. "It's painful," Zahir admitted. "We can approach, lance the sore, clean it, and inject antibiotics to help it heal." "How do you plan to survive this?" mocked one of Mr. Sukumar's colleagues. "Dealing with a large, injured elephant and furious villagers is too scary." The men agreed that there was nothing more they could do to save the bull and began arranging the hunt. But Barker and Zahir were not ready to give up. They didn't care about orders, all they wanted to do was help the elephant, which they did. Mowgli was on the edge of the village eating a lot of plantains. He was keeping an eye out for the angry men from the village. When he noticed them, he ran away and hid in the woods. Zahir and Barker, the 2 guys trying to help Mowgli, were near the village when they were stopped by some angry armed men. The men were furious because Mowgli had eaten their plantains and wanted to harm him. Zahir and Barker realized they needed to act soon. They got out of their car and walked down a path where they suspected Mowgli might be. After hours of searching, they found him hiding in a thicket with a painful abscess on his leg. Barker shot a dart at a place above the abscess to help Mowgli. Mowgli felt severe pain and became weak. He moved deeper into the thicket, and Zahir thought it was the perfect opportunity to start helping him. The elephant's massive backside could be seen among the trees ahead. The vet, Zahir, carefully got closer, carrying an open backpack and a bottle of clean water. He cleansed the disgusting stuff from the wound with a stick, and the elephant moved a little, but it didn't get angry. Zahir sprayed water into the wound, and gross stuff came out. The elephant twitched, but it didn't do anything crazy. Then, from his backpack, Zahir took out a big syringe with white medicine. He rapidly inserted it into the wound, which caused the elephant to squeal. Zahir pushed the medication in, removed the syringe, and quickly stepped away. Mowgli was more awake now and backing out of the thicket. It could get unsafe if the elephant had enough space to move. "We need to go," Zahir said. 3 hours later, when Barker and Zahir arrived at the ranger station, Mr. Sukar was there, not looking pleased. "Please tell me you didn't do what I think you did," he said. Zahir and Barker shrugged together. The vet spoke first. "Your elephant issue is fixed, Mr. Sukar. We cleaned the abscess on its leg and gave it antibiotics. Mowgli will be all better in less than a week. Now," Barker added, "you just need to prevent the villagers from hunting and harming it."
Subscribe for more content like this. And don't forget to hit the bell button so you can be updated right away for new uploads.